A changing in how undergraduate loans are written in the social finance will add £12 bn to the deficiency. Next, an office space for domestic statistic governing. The sum anticipated not to be paid, that could be 45% of credit, will be reclassified as social conducting. Undergraduate loans will now considerably shove up the UK's deficiency, provided and stimulus to bring training charges. By the government told the changing would be undertaken in expense by the training charges overview, due to paper previous following year. The judgment by the statistic agent tackles an abnormality in that the price of credit to students, to lid charges and support, has been lacking of the social finance. It will considerably growth the deficiency, that is the distinction among which by the government spends and which it receives. Nicky Morgan, armchair of the Exchequer Choose Board and ex-Formation Secretariat, welcomed the governing proverb the present loans framework lacked study, while by the government could expend billions of pounds of social cash out of any adverse effect on its deficiency goal. The freelance economy believe Tank, the Institution for Financial Teaching, says the account framework has been ridiculously lavish to by the government's finance. It says the force to represent the actual price of the charges framework, in that 70% of students will not completely depay, would give social finance nearer to economical fact. The changing applies through the UK, but largest of the will be taken into account for by credit to students in England. It might audio love a engineering changing, but it has main implications for the standard of training charges in England. The judgment by the ONS will ensure a succulent carrot for by the government to reduce charges of £9,250, since by the account changes, the high the standard of charges, the high the credit and the more the adverse effect on the deficiency. If by the government does anything, and sticks in the present standard of charges, the harm to the deficiency will growth of £12 bn at this to £17 bn in 5 year, on to the Institution for Financial Teaching. It would as well keep universities anxious on how their budgets would be uncompensated. But in regulation of the policy significance assigned to reduction the deficiency, training charges in their present shape might abruptly see lot less than appealing. The IF says it is potential to indicate by the government will see for some options, that could indicate reduced charges, reduce concern extortion, or less students. The Believe Pot as well warns how if the Chancellor had on £15 bn in chamber to manoeuvre, lot of how will include been graded of. Nearly part of the importance of undergraduate credit is anticipated to be spelled off, and the will now be reclassified as conducting, that the ONS says will shove up the deficiency by £12 bn. The Lords Board prediction how not accounting the price of loans before they were spelled off following 30 year would increase in £1 billion lb dark opening. The Exchequer Choose Board had as well alerted how in impact largest of high formation financing had disappeared of social conducting figures. The judgment by the ONS will halt kicking the can downward the way on the price of undergraduate financial. The new classifications will share undergraduate lending payments in true by the government credit for the proportion anticipated to be paid, time the proportion not anticipated to be paid, about 45%, will calculate as conducting. Time students might see striker to reduce charges, universities are precautionary versus a capacity losing of financing. Lot of college financing in England is via training charges, and if charges were cut down there would be questions on substitute the deficit. Ministers may now be seduced to cut college financing since it will see superior for the deficiency, but nice politics really be prompted by account rules, told Tim Bradshaw, head execution of the Russell team of universities. Nickname Highlander, CEO of the High Formation Politics Institution, told the 180 extent somersault on account will appear confusing for policymakers. But he alerted it could indicate less than financing for students as they abruptly see lot more than expensive to present taxpayers. Alastair Jarvis, head execution of Universities UK, alerted versus knee joint jerk reactions that could cut conducting on students or range undergraduate numbers. Labour's Dark Formation Secretariat, Angela Rayner, told it proven the undergraduate loans framework is a financial delusion that flatters by the government's recording. A by the government representative underlined how in pragmatic regulation, the does not influence students, who can yet accessing loans to assist in training charges and the price of residing, and that they will just begin repayment while they are making over £25,000.